Internal rate of return is that rate at which the NPV should be equal to zero, or we also call it as minimum rate of return which the company should earn so that it has no losses. Cash flow is equal to your initial investment. So you should earn at least to recover your initial investment. So this is why companies find this rate, because if I find the minimum rate, I can set my target as to how much I can earn above that. So if I get to know that the minimum rate of return for my company that I have to earn is 8%, I will make sure minimum 8 I earn, and if I want to make profit, I will earn more than 8%. So it becomes a base to set a negative NPV. Otherwise, if I set a positive NPV, then I will get a negative NPV. So internal rate of return basically tells you what is the minimum you should earn so that you can fix up your target a little higher than that, or at least that much so that you're not at losses. So to do this, I had told you we basically use the trial and error method because the rate will not be given and we need to find that rate. So we can try for different rates and see where we are getting NPV as zero. If we do trial and error, it's time consuming and it would take maybe hours together to do it. If you do it in a software or in a Excel, you may do it quickly. But then, because we are doing it manually, doing it again and again with different rates becomes difficult. So in the last class, I had asked you to assume a rate of 10% and start finding NPV. So 10% you can consider it as base rate, and at 10% you can first calculate NPV. So in my last class, we had calculated NPV for 10% rate in the Excel sheet, and these are the present value factors. So when we found the NPV, it was 1,52,020. This was the NPV for 10% rate. Now I had told you if the NPV is positive, the next rate should be 10 plus something. If the NPV is negative, the next rate should be 10 minus something. In our case, the NPV is positive. It is 1,52,020. So the next rate should be 10% plus something. That means it should be more than 10%. Now, how much more, how to understand? That depends on the amount of NPV that is positive. Like here, it's 1,52,020. So almost 1.5 lakh has to go and we have to reach into the negative zone. So if from 10, if I take 11%, I may not get negative immediately. The amount is bigger, so the next rate also should be a little higher. So from 10, maybe we can try 15. But at 15 also, I got a positive NPV of around 1,000, 2,000 odd. So we took it at 16%. At 16%, we have got a negative NPV. So you can see here NPV is minus 15,550. Here we have done an error in calculation in the last class. Instead of 0.862, I had taken 0.826. So that correction I have made and I have highlighted for you. I will share this document. You can do the corrections in your book also. So you will get a NPV. Now, if I take this amount, 9,94,530 minus 10 lakh, the negative NPV amount will be minus 5,470. So this is the negative NPV that we have got. Okay. So now we have two rates. One is 10%. So at 10%, I got positive NPV, and the other is 16%. At 16%, I got negative NPV. Using these two rates, we are going to find the IRR. Now, out of these two rates, one is the higher rate and the other is the lower rate. Can anybody tell me which is higher and which is lower? 10 and 16, which is higher? 16%, right? And
Yes,
10%
ma'am.
is and 10% is lower. Okay,
Lowest.
so yeah, it is not necessary that your base rate only should be higher. With out of the two in mathematics, normal common sense, whichever is the higher number, we'll take it as higher rate. Whichever is the lower number, we'll take it as lower rate. Now, how to find NPV using this IRR using this? So the formula I will write it down here. Internal rate of return is equals to lower rate plus. Okay, then we are going to see present value at lower rate minus initial investment. I'll write it as II. This has to be divided by present value at higher rate minus present value at lower rate into difference of rate. Okay, how it should look like, I will show you if possible. Just a minute. Instead of writing full form of present value, I'll write it as PV. So it is like this: lower rate plus this lower rate is separate. Okay, this entire division is in one bracket. So it is low, and this difference also has to be multiplied by the entire equation. Okay, I'll just show. It's not working yet. So it is like lower rate plus into bracket present value at lower rate minus initial investment divided by present value at higher rate minus present value at lower rate. This bracket completes this entire bracket. First you should solve, then you should multiply with difference of rate. Okay, so whichever are the two rates, you need to find its difference and you need to multiply it with that. So now we will solve and see how it will look like.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Any doubts?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm
Yeah,
not
tell me.
getting from where we have taken this 10 lakh, ma'am, in NPV.
It is initial investment, no? Given in the question here, if you can see, C Limited has a project in hand. The initial investment is rupees 10 lakh and the cash flows are given below.
Okay, for that reason we have to need the calculation of the both means two different NPV, right? In below you have
Yeah,
calculated.
yeah. Two rates we took, no? At 10%, whatever was the present value of cash flow minus initial investment 10 lakh, we got 1,52,020. And at 16%, present value of cash flows was 99,450 minus initial investment 10 lakh, we got a negative NPV minus 5,470.
Okay, is it like that for future and for present we have to means see the differences, right? Whether we have to means negative value or positive value. Means we have to
You
like
should have
find out those values.
you should have one NPV with positive and one NPV with negative. Here there is nothing as future value. Entire subject depends on the present value, finding the present value of cash flow. So only present value tables we will be using and we will be finding the NPVs.
Okay,
You
ma'am.
know the formula for NPV already. I have done. NPV is equals to present value of cash flow minus initial investment. And this is what I have done here. At 10% rate, I got present value of cash flow as 1 lakh 15, sorry, 11 lakh 52,020 minus the initial investment given in the question is 10 lakh. Similarly, at 16%, I got 9 lakh 94,530 minus initial investment given was 10 lakh. So we got one positive NPV and one negative NPV. And we should get it like this only, because in between positive and negative lies zero. So I can say in between plus 1 and minus 1 is 0. So I need one plus sign and one minus sign NPV, so that in between those two rates, 10 and 16, I can find the IRR which will give me 0 NPV. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So this is the formula that we will use to calculate the IRR. So IRR is equals to first lower rate. Out of 10 and 16, the lower rate is
10.
10. 10 plus. Okay, then we'll put it in the bracket. We have to see present value at lower rate, which is 11 lakh 52,020 at 10% present value. You found here in the table. 11 lakh 52,020 is the present value at lower rate minus initial investment. Showed you just now in the question they've given initial investment is 10 lakh. This is the numerator divided by the denominator says present value at higher rate. So present value at higher rate is 9,94,530. At 16%, you can see here 9,94,530 minus present value at lower rate. So again, it is same 11,52,020 is the lower rate present value. So this bracket you need to solve first. Numerator divided by denominator, and then you should multiply it with the difference of rate. Difference of rate means 16 minus 10. So what is the difference?
6.
6. Okay, so let's solve now for IRR is equals to 10 plus. We will first try to solve the brackets which are there inside. So 11 lakh 52,020 minus 10 lakh if I do, I'll get as 1 lakh 52,020 divided by 9,94,530 minus 11,52,020. How much will, just a second, no? Sorry, here in the formula, here I have to take present value at lower rate. Wrote it in the other way. And here it is higher. So this 11 lakh 52,020 minus 9 lakh 94,530. If we do, see how much you get. 1 lakh 57,490 you get. So 1 lakh 57,490. So we first opened the inside brackets. Now we have to divide these two and then multiply it with 16 minus 10, which is 6. Okay, so IRR is equals to 10 plus. So let's divide 1 lakh 52,020 divided by 1 lakh 57,490. You get 0.9652. I'll take 4 digits, 0.9652 after the decimal into 6. So first we'll multiply. So 0.9652 into 6. You get 5.79. So
Yes, ma'am.
IRR is equals to 10 plus 5.79. You can take all 4 digits
15.79.
also. Hmm. So IRR will be equal to 15.7912%. So this is the rate at which your NPV will be equal to 0. So when I was teaching you IRR, I told you not necessary that whole number only you get as answer 1%, 5%, 10%, 12%. You can get 10.5% also. 15.79 is what we have got. Okay. So uh, the most important thing is to get the two rates, the higher rate and the lower rate. And these you will get, one will give you positive NPV, one will give you negative NPV. Between these two rates, you will have your IRR value. Now, another important thing is, the lesser the gap between the two rates, the better answer you will get. Okay. Now here see, I have not tried 15%. From 10, I directly took 16. But suppose if I would have tried 15%, I would have got a positive NPV. Then I would have tried 16% and got negative. So if I have three rates, so I'll write it here. Suppose I tried at 10%, then I tried at 15%, and then I tried at 16%. Now at 10 and 15, I got positive, and at 16, I got negative. In this case, when we have such rates, we should take the closer rates. So if I would have tried all the three rates, I would have taken 15 and 16, and I would have ignored 10. So if you're trying three rates, you take those two rates which are closer to each other. The gap or the difference should be less. Like here, 10 and 16, if I take, the difference is 6. But if I would have taken 15 and 16, the difference would have been 1. So it gives you much closer or accurate answer. Is that fine?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, is it okay if
Please go
we
through.
can take the round figure for IRR?
No, no, whatever you get, you write it. If you round it off and say 16%, no, then at 16%,
Yeah.
see, we have already tried and we have got negative. You can see
Right.
5,470 negative. So you cannot round it off. Whatever is the exact rate, you
Correct,
have
ma'am.
to keep it that much, and that is your IRR. So
Okay.
now
The
let's
ideal
try.
percentage, as we are given in the example, 10, 15, and 16%, they used to give in problem, right?
No, no, they will not give you the ideal percentage. Look at this problem. No, have they given you the percentage? This is the question. C Limited has a project in hand. The initial investment is 10 lakh and the cash flows are given below. So these are the cash flows and they want you to find. So I'll write it here. Find IRR. So have they given any rate here?
No, ma'am, no.
No, they won't give. That's why I told you initially you can start assuming it as 10% and work on it. And then the next rate you can decide depending upon the NPV. If the NPV is positive, the next rate will be 10 plus something. If the NPV is negative, the next rate will be 10 minus something.
Okay.
Is that fine? So let's do one more
Yes,
sum.
ma'am.
Now here you see XYZ Limited provides you the following information. There are two projects X and Y. Initial investment is 10 lakh for X and 12 lakh for Y, and cash flows. This is year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 years cash flows they have given you. Now look at the question. They are asking you the cost of capital is 10%. Compute NPV and IRR. Now why have they given this here? In the previous sum, they didn't give, because in the previous sum, they only asked for IRR. Here, they are asking you for NPV and IRR. If they are asking for NPV, they have to give the rate. That is why it is given in this problem, but not necessary. It will be given in all the problems. If they ask two or three methods together, then you may get some base rate. If they don't ask, if they ask you to do only IRR, then they will not give you the rate. That is what we have to find in the question. Is that fine?
Yes,
Any
ma'am.
doubt? Okay. Let's start then. First, we'll find the NPV for project X first. Okay, so NPV for project X. I'll do it in the Excel sheet. Okay, let's take the cash flows. These are the cash flows which are given. Present value interest factor at 10%. We'll see the table value. I have downloaded one table for you. Just a second. Zoom it. Is it visible for all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we want 10%. Okay, so here see, for first year, 10% I'm seeing. This is yours. And here is the rate. Okay, so we need for first year 10% rate is 0.909. So we'll take it 0.909. Second year 0.826. Third year
For third year, ma'am, 0.751.
0.751.
For fourth year, it is
0.683.
0.683. And the
And
last
last
one I
it
have to
is
say
0.621.
6. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so these are the 5 years rate that I have considered here till 6 to 1. Okay, now present value of cash flows. How to find? We'll multiply the cash flows with the present value interest factor. So is equal to, we multiply present value of cash flows into the interest factor to get the present value of cash flows. Just drag it. I'll get it for all the years. You have to do it using your calculator in exam. So you need to manually practice it at home using your calculator. Try solving it. So we'll find the present value cash flow in the offline class. We're doing it on the calculator only. Okay, so we get a present value of cash flows as 9,750,000. Now we can find the NPV here. NPV is equals to present value of cash flows, which is 9,750,000 minus initial investment. Let's look at the initial investment for project X. It is 10 lakh rupees. So we are going to use this 10 lakh rupees as initial investment. So minus 10 lakh.
1
We
lakh
get
750 minus
1
1 lakh
lakh,
750.
1 lakh or 99,000. Just see, minus
Minus
99,000.
99,250.
Sorry, yeah, 250. Okay, let's just increase the font. So this is what we get as NPV for 10%. And if you look at the question, the cost of capital is 10%, compute NPV. So we have done with the NPV for project X. Now we have to calculate IRR for project X. So how to calculate IRR? Just look at the NPV value. At 10%, it is minus 99,250. So at 10%, the NPV is negative. It is minus. So what should be the next rate? It should be 10 plus something or 10 minus something.
10 minus.
10 plus.
10 minus, because the NPV is negative. There is a minus sign. Okay. That is what in the previous class also I told you. Look at the NPV at your base rate. If it is positive, the next rate should be whatever is the base rate plus something. If here there is a minus sign, then I have to do 10 minus something. That means the next rate should be lesser than 10%. So it can be 5%, 6%, 4%, 8%, any rate. Okay. Now here see the amount again. Amount is almost a lakh rupees. 99,250 means almost close to 1 lakh. So if I take 9%, again I'll get positive only. If I take 8%, again I'll get positive. So taking smaller differences, you will have to do the trial and error again and again. What I have taken is 6%. So I have got a positive NPV at 6%. So at 6%, okay, you can also suppose from 10 you directly want to try 5, you can try at 5 also and solve. You will get a positive NPV, and 10 and 5 will be the difference. Okay, what will happen, every one of you will take different rates in exam, because only the base here 10% we can assume, but the next rate where I might have taken 6, you might take 5, somebody else might take 7 and try, and then get negative, again go to 6 and try. So answers will differ a little bit because the rates are different. Okay, differ little bit means it will differ in decimal points. So that is okay, because this is our trial and error method. So when we use that shortcut formula, we don't get the exact answer, we get an approximate answer depending upon the rates and the gap difference between the rate that we have selected. Is that okay? Now we'll see
Yeah, ma'am.
at, at 6% what is the interest factor value. So this is 6% here, you can see, and we have to see from first year at 6%. So this is the first rate, 0.943, then 0.890840, and so on till 5 years. So I'll just record it. 0.943, 0.890, 0.840, 0.792, and 0.747. These are the rates that is there at 6%. Now we'll find the present value of cash flow. How to find the present value of cash flow? Again, I'm repeating, don't take this answer. This is already present value of cash flow. Don't multiply this and this. You do such mistakes in exam all the time because you'll be in hurry and you'll not understand, and you'll simply multiply this with this. We want cash flow into present value interest factor. So these are the cash flows. We have to multiply this with the 6% rate. Like we multiplied the cash flows with 10%, now we are multiplying cash flows with 6%. Okay, so 1,80,000 into 0.943. We have to multiply it like that.
1 lakh
1,80,000 into,
69,740.
yes, 1,69,740. Similarly, 2,20,000 into 0.890. 1,95,800 you will get. And 2,18,400, 2,37,600, 1,86,750. So these are the rates that you get, or this is the amount of value that you get after finding the present value at 6%. Now we'll find the total. So we want present value cash flow. The total is addition of all this. So it is 10,08,290. Okay, now we'll find the NPV. NPV is equals to 10,08,290 minus initial investment for project X is given, which is 10 lakh. Which is equal to 8,290, which is a positive NPV. Okay. So we have one negative NPV and the rate here is 10%, and we have another positive NPV. The rate here we took is 6%. So we have our rates now 10 and 6%. Okay, one is positive and one is negative NPV. Is that clear, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now which is the lower rate and which is the higher rate from 10 and 6?
Six one is lowest.
Correct. 6 is lower and 10 is higher. So what we'll do, we'll
Yes.
just copy this in the Word document so that we can solve the formula there.
Ma'am, when we have to compare the means the values for higher and lowest, we have to consider always the percentage, right? We're not supposed to take the amount over there.
No, no, always the percentage.
Okay, ma'am. Then it doesn't mean that it may be positive or negative. It should be always
See,
considered with the percentage. Then.
but when you take the rates, no, one rate should give you positive NPV, one rate should give you negative NPV. Only then those two rates will come, which will be higher and lower.
Okay,
See here,
ma'am.
when
Yeah.
I said 10 and 6, no, 10 is giving me negative NPV and 6 is giving me
Yeah.
positive NPV. So the two rates should be such that one gives you positive, one gives you negative. I cannot take 10 and 9 and say 9 is lower, 10 is higher, but both are giving me negative NPV. Then how I will get IRR? Again, I'm repeating, IRR is where your NPV is equal to 0 and where you will get 0 between minus and plus. Minus 1 plus 1, in between that is 0, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So same way, I want a minus NPV, I want a plus NPV. Maybe not minus 1 plus 1 I will get. Whatever amount. One should be minus negative NPV, one should be plus. Because in between minus and plus lies the 0. So that rate which will give us 0 is in between 10 and 6. Okay, now we'll
Okay, ma'am.
find IRR. So I'll just write down this formula. So IRR is equal to lower rate, you said is 6% plus present value at lower rate. So here we have 9 lakh 7, sorry, at lower rate is 6%. So this is the present value at lower rate, 10 lakh, sorry, um, yeah, 10 lakh 8,290 is the present value at lower rate. From this, what we should do, we should minus the initial investment. And here you can see in the question for project X, the initial investment is 10 lakh rupees. So we are going to minus that 10 lakh. So minus the initial investment 10 lakh. Okay, this has to be divided by present value at lower rate, which is again 10 lakh 8,290 minus present value at higher rate. Higher rate was 10%. So at 10%, the present value is 9 lakh 750. Take that. And this we have to multiply with the difference of rate. The difference of rate is 10 minus 6. So IRR is equals to 6 plus 10 lakh 8,290 minus 10 lakh if I do
2.07.
8,290 divided by
1,07,540.
1,07,540.
Yes, ma'am. 1,07,540.
1,07,540 into the difference of rate is 4. So IRR is equal to 6 plus. We'll divide and multiply by 4. So 8,290 divided by 1,07,540.
0.077.
0.077. There only you can do into 4. 0.3083.
0.8083. Yes, ma'am.
Then IRR will be 6.30, or you can say 6.3083%. So you can see in between 10 and 6%, we got IRR at 6.308, not at 6. At 6, we had a positive NPV. See here, 6% positive NPV. So we can't round it off. It should be 6.30 something to get a negative NPV. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So this was for project X. Similarly, we have to do it for project Y. Now, one question. Will you do it as homework or you want me to solve it here?
Ma'am, we'll do it.
Try for project Y. Here now, remember the initial investment is 12 lakh. And you have to take two rates. One rate is already given. Try at 10% first, find the NPV. And then if the NPV is positive, the next rate would be 10 plus something. If the NPV is negative, the next rate would be 10 minus some. So negative, lesser rate. Okay. So try for project Y. Now, here is one problem where they have given you annuity. Annuity means what? Same cash flow every year. We did annuity in NPV also, remember?
Yeah,
Now,
ma'am.
when they give you annuity, no, it is very easy to solve IRR and very easy to find those two rates. We need not actually take so much of stress and so much of calculations. But then you should be lucky enough to ask annuity in exam. How we can do annuity without any stress? So that is a shortcut way. What we do is first we do initial investment divided by annual cash flows. So first we do this step. Okay, this is so here I will have initial investment is given here. Just see 50,000 rupees is the initial investment and 12,500 rupees is the annual cash flow which they have given. Okay, so we will use this initial investment 50,000 divided by annual cash flow 12,500. Now can you just divide and tell me how much you get the answer?
4.
4.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
how what is this 4? Okay, this 4 is nothing but the table value, which will give us the two rates. Okay, now let's see how to see that table. Remember, it is annuity, so we are going to see present value interest factor annuity table, not the normal one, the annuity table. I did the same in NPV also. Okay, I hope it's all understanding. Now we'll see how this 4 will help us to get our two rates. So I'll take you to the table. For everybody, is the table visible clearly? I want the annuity table, so it's on the next
Yes, ma'am.
page. Here is the annuity table. Okay. Little- Okay. Now all of you with me. The they have told that the life of the project is 5 years. So we know the years, but we don't know the rate. So here in the table, I know the years, period 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I have to take 5 years. Okay, and I don't know the rate. So here we got an answer called as 4. We have to search this answer in that table. How to search? For 5 years, I will go on searching where I'll get 4. Exactly 4. Is this 4? No, it's more than that. 4.853. This is 4.731. Then we have 4.580. So on. If I go on checking, you can see here I have 4.100 and then I have 3.993. Exactly 4 am I getting anywhere?
No, ma'am.
No, but if I round it off, 4.100 is also 4 and 3.993 also if you round it off, it is 4, correct? So these are the two things that you have to see. Now this 4.100 is at what percentage? 7%.
7.
And 3.993 is at what percentage? 8%.
8%.
So these are the two rates, 7 and 8, in between which we will get our IRR. Okay, so here we need not assume 10% and solve and then see the next and the less. Here we can simply do one step. You divide your initial investment with the annual cash flows, you will get a number. Search for that number in the table at whatever years it's given. If the project is for 6 years, I would have searched in 6 year column where I'll get 4. Okay, now it is 5 years project. So in 5 years column at 7 and 8% we are getting 4. Is that fine, all of you? So the two rates,
We have to take
yeah,
values 7 and 8%.
yes, the two rates will be 7% at which the table value is 4.100,
4.10.
yeah, and 8% here only, right? At which at 8% the table value was
3.992.
3.993.
3.
3.993. So these are the two rates, 7 and 8% that we should consider to calculate the IRR. Is that okay? So in the next
Yes,
class,
ma'am.
we'll continue. It's already 10:52. Okay. Next class, we will solve this sum. I'll repeat it again as to how did I get those two rates so that it becomes firm in your brain. Nothing now. If you want, you can try at home also. You have to find NPV at 7%, NPV at 8%, and find IRR using that formula. And you already know how to find NPV when annuity is given. But still, if you are not able to do, in the next class, I will solve this. Okay. Next class, we'll do one more sum with annuity and one or two more with IRR, normal way. Okay. So you can type your numbers in the chat box. And if you have any doubts, you can ask.